volume.
There we go with the mic stuff. Like, can't even get the show started.
It's a new mic. It's a new mic. How I sound.
We can hear you. We can hear you. I can hear.
Great. That's good. That's good. That's the goal.
Yep. Community Coalition Show is back, y'all. What's going on? Of course, I'm K. Wilson.
K.
David was clowning over there, testing microphones as we start the show. So I can tell you're good. You good?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Feeling good. Feeling great.
Yeah. Feeling good. Feeling great. How are you? Okay.
How about you, bro?
I'm all right, man. I mean, all right as can be, to be honest with you. We here, and I know as we were just talking, it's like, man, like, had a whole nother show lined up, and we might get to that topic. I'm not going to table that just yet, but I think we would be irresponsible, as a show. I mean, I think to talk about, like, there's a lot going on in the world,
right?
And I don't think we have enough time, and to be completely honest, I know I'm not fully prepared to go deep into those conversations about what's going on in the world, what's happening right now, because it seemed like for a minute things are kind of leveled off a little bit. I mean, as much as can be, whatever that means. But now it's like the last couple of days, it's like, man, it's getting heavy again. Like not much has changed in the world.
It is. It really is.
So, yeah. And to your point, like, do you watch the news anymore? Or like not even the news, but like just how we receive our news now. Like for you, I know,
right?
Like where do you get a lot of your information from? Where are you getting it from these
days? I'll be honest, a lot of it comes from the internet, but like social media, but also like I do watch a little bit of like a little bit of news. I try to watch like one that's like that I think is at least fairly balanced. It's MSNBC.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they'll talk about like what's going on with both sides, and then like they say like, but this is wrong.
Yeah.
Like this shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. No, I feel that, and I think, I mean, I used to be a traditional like get up in the morning, watch the news every morning,
right.
Like when I woke up. Matter of fact, I would turn the TV to NBC because I watch Channel 4. We're in DC, every morning. That's what we turn to. But it's
right.
And then I just from moving around, you get a lot from the internet. Like I think everybody does. Of course, it's Zoom. Am I good now?
Zoom is not our friend right now. Zoom is not rocking with us right now.
It's not, and I'm getting the connection is unstable message. But you know what? We got the audio, so as long as the audio's going, we just gonna keep going.
Right.
But it's technology. Screw it. But no, for real, I think a lot of we are getting from social media. It's easy to like.
That's not the best thing to do.
No, it is not. But I think with social media, you just have to have like you have to have an eye for what's like the news and what's not.
Right.
And I think with some, like for example, like Twitter, for example, Twitter will give you, like, most of the time there's like a trending topic. You can find the root article of the trending topic. And then from there, then it goes on to whoever posted in their comments and the back and forth.
Right.
But I think if you can find the root issue, Instagram too, you'll find like that post that came from the news outlet or somewhere like that. So I think, it's just like you have to just know what you're searching for. And I think sometimes it's just getting the root issue.
Right.
And then going from there. Then you have to know who's saying what, know your sources and things like that.
Right. Know what you're going to get from one source from what you're going to get from someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. Like for me, I think when I'm searching through social media, like even if I come across something and it seems like, oh, that's news, that's crazy,
Mm-hmm.
where it came from, and then I'll go back to try to find either the original post from a credible news
Source.
outlet, news source. Yeah,
Right.
because it may have came from somebody else. It may have came from whoever, and I'll
Right.
see it and be like, oh, okay. Then let me go do my research. And yeah, that sounds like a lot, and it sounds like it's extra steps, but I think it's necessary.
You got to do that.
Yeah, because you can't just
That's
go with everybody. Like,
necessary, especially for right now because of what we saw in 2016. Like a lot of just and speaking of that, I think it's happening again.
yeah, yeah,
Like a bunch of bots are just popping up, and they're just following people. And I know that I'm not the only one that it's happening to.
no, oh for sure. I think it's happening all over. I think this is where those outside influences and the
Mm-hmm.
companies and it's a definitely a strategized, like calculated effort.
Right.
No, I don't think that. Oh, yeah, because me too. We talked about this a couple of days ago. Where it's like
Yeah, we did.
starting to get all these bots. You're starting to get all these
Yeah.
extra.
Right.
No, that's not a coincidence. Both of us at the same time
Mm-hmm.
starting to get both of the same stuff.
Right.
You know, like nah, that's not a coincidence. So I think we just have to be careful.
Sus.
Oh, very much. Yeah, very much. But it's not only sus, but it's like how blatant, how this like open is it where people can do this
Mm-hmm.
and
Get
you would
away with
think,
it.
yeah, you would think, but then it goes to show again, they're allowed to get away with certain things. You know,
Right.
like it's not that how do you get away? It's like, nah, they're getting away because we let them do it, you know?
Right.
So it's this, yes, it's how we like all this stuff is all over the place. We are
Mm-hmm.
bombarded with information now, good and
Mm-hmm.
bad.
Now you just gotta choose which one you want to believe,
I think
and
that's
which one is credible.
I think that's where the effort lies now.
Mm-hmm.
Before we had this, the effort was just getting the information. You had to like really
Right.
work. Like remember back in the day, like newspapers, man. Like
Yeah.
you go get a paper, the paper had to be delivered to you.
Mm-hmm.
Or even if you were watching TV, if you watch the news, like you had to find time, what time the news came on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was like 3 main like news times.
Right. Like 7 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah. You caught it like when you got home, like the nightly news at like
Mm-hmm.
7 p.m. or whatever, 6 or
7,
7 p.m.
8.
And then the night one, which is either like 10 or 11 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
now you get it anywhere.
It's 24. It's a 24-hour. It's a 24-hour cycle.
It is. It's a total. It's yeah. To the point where even like those news outlets, they had to adapt.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, I remember the first time I started seeing a lot of them like designate social media. Like they have people in their social media accounts,
Mm-hmm.
and you can tell there's a designated person that's their job.
Right.
You know, to just post the information on social media.
Right.
And so they had to take those steps. It was either that survive or fall off.
Right.
So they had to get with these times. And so
Right.
it's crazy.
And they like I respect that they like if you see like a viral video where something happens, like you'll see news sources under it and they ask permission. Hey, would it be okay if we use this
Yeah.
for our show tonight?
Yeah. They still have to get that
You got to get that consent.
you have to get consent, yeah. And to me that's the extra step. That's
Mm-hmm.
what separates a lot of them from the casual person,
Right.
the blogger or the quick YouTuber or the social media person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that like that influencer type. Yeah, that's the
Right.
separation. Because them dudes don't have rules. They just post whatever,
Right.
say whatever, give whatever take. But now you
Mm-hmm.
got credible sources that have to go through those steps. Which again, for me, kind of like, I mean, we are still talking about news. We know what
Right.
media, we know how our media goes, but at least
Right.
what we do receive,
Right.
it's a little bit better. So
Right. And sometimes those like the ones online, like they're credible. But like I said, you gotta choose which ones you want to consume.
yeah. And then like we were talking about before, knowing when to turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Because that can definitely take a toll on you.
I think that's important,
Mm-hmm.
And not just news, information in general.
Right.
Like this digital world, we're getting so much. we're learning so much. Like, like everybody's just exposed to so much.
Right.
And we do have the power to say, nah, not right now. We have that power. I don't think we realize, or I think we're so married to it, or sometimes it's even like an addiction.
Right.
But we all have the power to say, no, not today. Like, I'm gonna chill out. I can put my phone down. I can not get on my device
Right.
and chill, And that's why some days
Absolutely.
like days like today for me, like when I have a lot of work to do, sometimes it's hard for me to just get to my phone and just scroll through it, Some days I have downtime, I'm able to do it. And that's where like quarantine's kind of been rough because that's all you got, Like, so that's why I appreciate the days where I'm like, I'm out, I'm still moving about, where I got a lot to do, because it's not until like literally until I get home like 8-9 o'clock, and then I go to check stuff or I watch the news, and I haven't seen anything all day.
Right.
And I'm like, that to me, it feels almost like normal,
Right.
Like it feels like how it used to feel. I remember that feeling. It's almost like a nostalgic feeling or something. Like, oh, I remember how this used to be where I didn't see my phone for 3 hours,
Right. Where you picked up a paper and you actually read some articles.
Yeah. Oh, the paper, man. I wasn't the biggest newspaper reader, but I would read it, like, because I remember watching my grandfather. We're talking about the days.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, man. Like, you actually ordered a paper. I dropped off that Sunday paper was a packet, yo. Like, TV guide. It told you all the shows that were coming on and comics.
Comics
Underrated, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like the Boondocks actual comic strip.
Yep.
What was the other one? It's the white one. Like, what's it called? Family Circus or something. They used to get.
Yeah. That's what it's called.
Then the Garfield. So, like, I remember those.
Garfield.
Like,
and then my favorite became Pearls Before Swine.
See, and I think that's a little after me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because I would check those, and I don't remember any others. Yeah, I don't. But
you know what? Actually, my favorite Boondocks comic strip is. There's one where like it's like negative something degrees. Huey and Riley are like bundled up, and like there's like one white kid in shorts and a tank, like a jersey. He's like, "You guys cold?" And it's negative something degrees. Like, what do you mean? Is it cold?
See, I don't even remember the actual like the content of the strips. Dang, taking it back, man. I just remember the strips, and I remember being like younger, and I just thought it was cool to see like the black kids.
Right.
Like, it was the black kids, the Boondocks. I remember I was young enough. I didn't even know what Boondocks was.
Right.
Like the actual term.
Oh, I still don't know.
Oh man, for real. I better Google it again, because I remember like the actual, because it's different meanings. Like, you talk about like boondocks in terms of like out in the country and stuff like that, or like the boonies used to mean like far out.
I've heard that.
Yeah. But you're gonna make me Google boondocks, and it's gonna, you know what? I'm gonna Google it. It's gonna give me a whole bunch of
right. And then also there was like the Boondock Saints, and I had no idea what that was.
Yeah. See. Oh, there's actual different meanings to boondocks. Yeah, remote, rough, isolated, So like you were out there like in the cuts.
Okay.
Yeah. Boondock Saints. That was a movie. The Irish brothers going and they killed everybody. Yeah. Not a horrible movie. It's a weird movie though. Yeah, they're supposed to be like, like Irish Catholic or something. They ended up like these big gun battles and stuff. Like, it was I just watched
mafia type stuff.
Yeah, it kind of had that like late '90s, early 2000s shoot 'em up kind of movie, like a little special effects, and it was just like not a bad movie though. It was watchable, it was entertaining. But yeah, the Boondocks. So I don't know, taking it back, but going back to the original point where, it is a lot going on,
right,
and. I was taken back. I having a conversation with an old friend of mine. This was last week, went and linked up. And we were just talking like, because she runs an organization, she has a lot of staff.
Right.
And when the protesting first hit, she was telling me how a lot of her staff, were really distraught, really upset, lot of black staff and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They were struggling, a lot of people struggling to really get their jobs done,
Right.
And how, they had to come together, and it was like, let's try to understand what's going on. It wasn't so much about like what's going on in the world,
Mm-hmm.
but let's try to understand how you're feeling and how you process this.
Right.
The thing is, what she was saying, for some people, it was just like, it was really overwhelming
Mm-hmm.
to hear all this stuff. And a lot of people, we're talking about like, we're talking about like trained professional adults. So people
Right.
work in the mental health field.
Mm-hmm.
And they were even struggling with just the sheer bombardment, seeing these images, seeing and hearing what's going on. And
Right.
it was really taking a toll on them. And I don't think they understood how impactful everything was on them, to the point where like little triggers, little things,
Right.
just having a conversation, the workplace environment, everything started to change, and it
Right.
was different. And I don't think we've given that enough conversation.
Okay.
I don't think a lot of people. I haven't heard that part of the conversation, because that's what we and her were talking about. As we're sitting there, and it was just like, because she was asking me like, well, as a black man, how have you taken this and how have you felt? Um, and it was a complex answer for me.
Right.
You know, um,
Yeah, I've actually been asked that too, and like I had to, I had to stop and like I had to think about it, and
yeah,
I had to like just go into my head and think like just like say what it's like. Honestly, I was just like since the people that I worked with were they were very chill, they were very open to like hearing what everyone wanted to say. I just really said how I felt, and like they they said, you know what, that makes sense, and like we're sorry that you feel that way. Like,
yeah, yeah. And I think that's it.
oh,
Okay.
but also sorry, but also they acknowledged their privilege.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's complex. I think
Mm-hmm.
first part of that is one, me, you. How do you feel about that, right?
Right.
Processing that, and I think we have to first take a step and give that thought.
Right.
I think it's one thing to try to keep busy. Oh, I'm gonna keep moving. I'm gonna keep grinding. I gotta do what I gotta do. But
Mm-hmm.
then you never really understand how you feel about it. I think
Right.
if you don't understand how you feel, it's easy to like. I'm not gonna say easy, but I think you're more vulnerable, more open to like when things happen,
Mm-hmm.
being emotional, not understanding how it works, not
Right.
understanding why. And I think the why questioning comes in, and I think that can compound things for people.
Right.
You know, and I think if you do take the time to understand, okay, like this is how I'm feeling, even if you don't understand
Mm-hmm.
why you're feeling that way, but just to, I think it's okay just to say, you know what, this is making me upset. This is making me sad. This is
Right.
making me angry. This makes me cry. Whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So then at least you're giving it the space. And if it
Right.
happens, you're like, okay, I know this. I know this is gonna do this to me.
Mm-hmm.
I can allow it to happen, or you can verbalize that at least to other people.
Right.
If you have other people around, like, look, that image, I already know how that's gonna make me feel,
Mm-hmm.
and it may help you navigate, move a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the
As,
first thing with
I
you.
think as long as you like you take it in and you process it and you know how you feel about it, like you really need to take that time and like process like whatever just happened, and as long as
Yeah,
there's like some thought to it to where like you've taken in the information and then you've formed your opinion on it, I think that's progress.
yeah, and I think that's huge progress.
Mhm.
I don't think people are taking the time to do that. And then, so I think that's the first part, right? The second part, again, is being able to express that, and not only being an environment where you're allowed to express that. Like you have to be able to say, hey, this is how I'm feeling about this. This is what's going on.
Right.
So, and I think that goes to the places we're in, the environments we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's around your folks, your fam, your friends, the work environment, wherever you are, you have to almost have that space.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Absolutely.
the third part of that is, whoever shares that space with you, they have to be able to understand that and also process that, have dialogue, even if they don't feel the same way.
Right.
So again, like you can't be around people who dismiss what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's how you feel, whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, or why? Why do you feel that way? Sometimes you may not know why. So I think those three things have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
and as I was talking to my homegirl, I think they were struggling with that third part. Mm. Whereas some people, they were trying to express, so they started having groups just to let's see what's going on. And I felt like in the group, some people were expressing, trying to be open, and then there were some were like, I don't like why. Why do you feel like that? And they couldn't understand or make the connection why people were feeling that way with whatever was going on. And to me, that's the problem. That's like that disconnect. That's where the problem comes in. Because then, like even she said, like some of the
right. I think another part of it is. Oh, sorry. There was a delay. My bad.
I know it's a huge delay. Now I can hear you. Go ahead.
And there's another delay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. I think another part of it is that people don't know how to you can process it, but you may not be able to know how to express how you feel. Yeah. Like you might not be able to put it into words.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know it. Yeah. And I know it's easier said than done. But also, I think that's why we have.
Absolutely.
We can be creative about that too. And I think however we get it done, it may not be just words on paper. Maybe there's another form of expression. Mm-hmm. I've been seeing a lot of artists.
Right.
Or people who aren't even artists, but they're using art. They're using other forms of communication to try to get it out. I think so. It's like you try, and I think sometimes we try, even if it may not even come out the way we want it.
Right.
Sometimes that's practice. Mm-hmm.
We talk about practice.
We talk about practice, not a game.
Nah, I'm just playing. We can get in that. Man. No, but I really do feel that way. That like people like. There's sometimes where you may feel a certain type of way, but you may not be able to express that to someone.
Yeah.
Not be able to say it. It's like, oh, I'm sad. And it's like, but I don't want to just say I'm sad. Like, I'm feeling a certain type of way. Like,
yeah. And I think that's where that phrase comes in. I feel some type of way.
Right.
And I think it's a wonderful phrase. I think
it is.
Because it's acknowledging I don't know exactly how I feel yet, but I know it's different, and I'm trying to express that. But because it's different, I don't know how. So even saying like I'm feeling some kind of way, it's one of the phrases I'm starting to use a lot. I use it a lot, and I say, you know what, like I'm feeling some kind of way. I don't know yet. I just need a minute to try process, or even get myself to a place where I can just. Get right.
Right.
And that's the space we need to have. Like, we are human. And sometimes we just need to be humans.
Right.
And know that we are flawed, know that we don't know everything, know that we don't understand everything. Maybe later in time, it may come to us. It may be revealed. God's time. You don't know.
Right.
But at least the acknowledgement of that. I think as a society, we've kind of done a better job of coming out of like ego and macho facade and things like that. And everybody had to be tough and hold it in and you don't show emotion. But I feel like we're making steps out of that. But I think part of that progress too is, okay, let's acknowledge that we don't know. Sometimes we don't know.
It's okay to say, I don't know.
I don't know about a lot. I don't know about a lot. I thought I was good. I don't. This one I think I do know about something.
Mm-hmm.
It changes.
Right.
That's life. I don't know how I feel. You think, 37 years I would know myself and my body. No, I don't. I don't. Why? Because it's always changing too. Just when I thought I had handle on it when I got 30, and it changed.
Mm.
Like
Is that gonna happen to me when I'm 30?
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe before, maybe after. You never know. Like, we change. We're in constant evolution.
Right.
We are. And everything about us. This world, everything, it's in constant flux.
Right.
It's rare.
I think we need to accept that that we're a sign of our times.
Yeah.
And like we're a product of our environment.
Yeah. Which is right now.
And a lot of people won't acknowledge it, I think.
Well, because change is scary.
Right.
The concept and theory of change can be scary for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
right. And change is okay.
Yeah. It's not always
change. Right. It's okay to change your mind.
And change is inevitable.
Right.
It is. So sometimes we just gotta roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
Know that, acknowledge that, and then move accordingly. Do what you can. I feel like once I started figuring that in life, the stress kind of started going away.
Right.
I can control what I can. I do what I can. And after that, all right, I'm not gonna stress. That's why I don't live with much stress.
Right.
All right, if it ain't happening, okay. I don't know how I feel. I just feel angry. I'm like, all right, it's raw. It's angry. I deal with it. I get over it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was that? That was Sunday night. Something happened. I was so mad. I had a phone conversation I was not trying to have. It went south, and I was so angry I couldn't express it.
Right.
Like I'm seeing him be real. All I could do was I was so frustrated. All I could do was cry. All I could do was cry, y'all. And so I didn't fight it.
Right.
I cried. I was boo-hooing. That's how angry, that's how it just emotional it made me. So I got it out. And once I got it out, calmed myself down, wiped my face off, went and got something to eat, I was okay again. I didn't fight to cry,
Right.
This is how you gotta roll sometimes. So it's like, you acknowledge it. Change.
Right. Let the community coalition show, let us let you know it's okay to cry.
It is okay to cry.
It's okay to have emotions.
And even as a man, as a black man, and I know the stigma, and I know how we used to be taught. The old heads. My dad was one of those people. He would call you a punk. He would call you he would call you all those things. He'd call you a little punk bitch. If you cry, you a bitch. That he was the one who would say that stuff. And for whatever reason, I ain't never really buy it because I guess I ain't feel him. So I thought he was a sucker. So I just, like I ain't never really paid no attention to what he said, but he would say it, and that's the thing. And so, and you know how you're a kid when enough people say it,
right? You start to believe it.
Yeah. The whole culture, not even just stuff like that. Like, remember playing sports, playing ball. Hurt, suck it up. Don't let them see you hurt. If you hurt, keep playing. You push through the pain and all this.
Right.
So you begin to develop this whole mentality, like this tough macho. I'm never hurt. And it wasn't until I got older and I realized how damaging that was.
Yeah.
Physically and mentally.
I think the mentally, it will mess you up.
They're talking about like ego, facade, all these things come into play. Then you have a hard time expressing and communicating.
Right.
Trust issues. You don't want to open up. It's so much. Physically, I remember I didn't want to go to doctors. I never would get help. I would get my physical. Why? Because if I was hurt, you suck it up. You're a man. You don't go to no doctor. All this stuff. You believe this is culture.
Right.
It's okay to let it out. It's real to cry. I think we gotta understand that. Crying it's a real raw emotion. Everyone, we have this emotion. And it's good. It's a good thing.
It's healthy.
Yeah, crying is not always from a bad situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was at a wedding. What was that 2 weeks? Last week, 2 weeks ago. And I watched, and I'm being real. I'm gonna be real. Like the groom, friend, dude I know,
Mm-hmm.
saw his bride, and he started to choke up a little bit. My first reaction
My
was,
guy. My guy.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? My first reaction was, oh, he crying? Then I thought about it. I was like, nah, let me not do this to this man, right? Because, and that's the thing. That's what we were taught. That's what we were programmed.
Right.
Then I thought about it. It's like, nah, man, he been waiting his whole life for this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, think about that. Like, and I sat there as I'm watching this, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, imagine you waited your whole life for something, no matter
Mm-hmm.
what it was. You've been dreaming about this. You've been working. You've been grinding for this. And when you get there, it's emotional. I equate it to like watching like basketball players, football players get drafted. When they come from college, they go to the pros. You know,
Right.
draft day. What do you see? Like when that dude gets his name called, it's an emotional thing. Most of them, they break down and start crying.
Right. They've been working their whole lives for that.
Your whole life to get to this one moment, to hear your name called, to know that everything is about to change for you.
Mm-hmm.
You've been grinding, you've been pushing the ups and downs all the years.
Right.
And when you get there, it's like, oh, I'm doing this, I did this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, shit, cry.
Yeah.
Cry. You earned it.
Mm-hmm.
So as I watch my man choking up, and now he's trying to give vows and he's choking up. Yeah. Win, man. Like you winning, you got that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it made me, and it still makes me appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even for myself, like I go back, yeah, I appreciate those things. I remember what it was like. I remember the milestones I hit in my life.
Right.
You know, I remember when I'll be real. I remember when I got the first paperwork back for my business,
Mm-hmm.
the LLC paperwork back, and I remember like this was before early when it came back in the mail, and I knew I did it. I knew I had registered. I paid for it, paid the money for it, right? But there was something about getting that letter back,
right,
and seeing the name on it. It was just like I had sat there for a minute, like kind of like almost like choked up, but it was just like, okay. You know, like I felt accomplished. It felt like a weight.
Right.
You know, like these are celebratory things.
Absolutely.
Fellas, and not even just fellas, sisters, whoever.
Yep.
Go ahead and cry.
It's okay to cry.
Go ahead and cry, y'all. Like I think about things now, and it's just like, you know, like, because I don't know. I don't know if I consider myself an emotional dude, but I don't have
I'm definitely emotional. I don't
have a problem with being emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a problem with like I'll cry if I have to, you know. And some days you just feel it, you know. Like I've cried for certain movies, not the movies most people would cry at, but you know, yeah.
Hey, never, real quick. Never movie that you cried at that you would think that other people would cry at.
That I cried at that other people wouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm about to blurt out some real crazy stuff. 3:10 to Yuma. If you ever seen that movie, the ending. It's a Western. I watched because I actually watched it like last year. First time I saw it was like a remake.
Mm-hmm.
But the end of that movie, I was like, and I don't want to give it away.
Right.
The bond that was forged between a lawman and a criminal, they go through all this stuff together. You get to the end of the movie, and the bullshit happens. And it's just like, felt for my man. Like, so it wasn't like boohoo, but I sat there like, dang.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one. Yeah, I ain't go front. Oh man, what was I watching? I
was just looking for one, but if you want to keep going,
I mean, because like I said, I don't have a problem with certain things. Like because it's not so much like the content. Sometimes it's how what it relates to you. Sometimes how it moves you, how it grips you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it draws you. It takes you to a certain place.
Right.
So some movies that connection there can be powerful. So I could probably go into some, but there's a couple of them where like, I mean, some songs,
Right.
the same thing. There's some things where it's just like you hear them and it's like, I'm not gonna front me and songs about mom, you know, because my relationship with my mother. Second time, I know the first one, that Boyz II Men song, Mama, I can't listen to it. Can't listen to it. Like I hear it, I'm like, next, spot, next, like, next, nope, because that is such a powerful song for me.
Right.
You know, there's certain songs and some songs that connect about my mother. And they do it. They'll do it for me. I can play a song right now. I'll cry right now. Because they're just so moving, so powerful for me. But some pieces.
Alexa, please play "Dear Mama" by Tupac.
I'll cut this joint off. I'll stop the show right now. Cut everything
down. I'll play.
Because I'm not. Because what I'm like, I'm not saying crying is pretty all the time either. Sometimes you cry ugly. I be in that joint, snot be coming out.
Ugly crying.
Eyes be all well done. Like, it can be ugly. It gets ugly. But you know what though? You feel so much better. Like I get a good cry out. Like I'm good afterwards.
Right.
Oh, I know what movie. Coco. I was Coco with the kids, man. And end of that.
I've heard that's made everyone cry.
Yo, I ain't know. No one told me. I had no idea. I went in blind. Because I really didn't want to watch it at first. Because, like, again, another thing I'll be honest about, I'm not the biggest, like, Disney anime kid cartoon movie, like, animation movie.
Right.
I kind of grew up on them, but, like, I didn't. So there's a lot of them I haven't seen, to be honest. So once the girls was like, okay, I went back and started watching some of them. Okay. And so a lot of them, I'm like, I just don't want to. It always happens. I'm like, I don't feel like watching this kids movie. And by the end of the movie, I'm like, yo, that was the greatest movie ever. Like, who made this? Like,
right.
So that's how it's been. So like, Coco went in like, this joint gonna be stupid. Like, I don't see it. Okay, even the beginning of the movie, I'm like, I ain't like. But I watched it. By the end of the movie, little plot twist hit. Like. The girls didn't see it. I'm sitting on the couch like, that was
you crying?
Like I can't go back and watch it. I haven't watched it since. It's gonna take me a while to get back to it. Like
I feel it.
But I was like, yo, I get it, you know? So yeah, like and if it takes me saying I don't have a problem with crying for other people, like especially men, like especially, you know, black men, like, yes, let it out, man. And sometimes it ain't even like movies and all that stuff. Like sometimes life is just frustrating. Sometimes
absolutely
it is hard.
Absolutely, yes. But society has taught us that we should suck it up and we should just keep going.
And that's bullshit.
Right. Because when you don't sit down and process it, it'll come out some other way.
It will. It comes out. It'll fester inside you. It'll manifest in other types of behaviors. You know, it can alter your mental status. It can change things. Like this is a real thing. This is a serious thing.
Absolutely.
Sometimes if you got to go ahead and just let it out for a second. The last time I got pulled over by the cops, man, it was so. And I remember after pulled me over, we go through the song and dance. Nothing happened.
Right.
But I knew it was some bull. So he pulled off, and I just like, I was so mad. And it wasn't until I got home. I remember I pulled up in the driveway, and I just put the car in park, and I just some tears came out.
Right.
Because I'm like, this is, you know, like, oh, like, it's so frustrating sometimes.
Right.
You see this stuff on the news. I watched my man get shot in the car, and the kids in the car. This is
you know what's crazy about that? I didn't know that his kids were in the car.
Yeah, I didn't know at first either.
That was crazy.
So I'm like, how do you not see this madness? How do you not? experience this madness yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you see this stuff, what was the first thing you think? Damn, what that was me.
Yeah. That's
like,
number one.
What that was me. That can be me.
Right.
You know, like we think about these things. We associate ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I see my man, like I remember when Trayvon Martin got killed.
Right.
And I remember thinking to myself, like, damn, back in the we used to walk down the street all the time. Like, what if some dude just ran up on us like that?
Right. Like, what do you like? It's like fight or flight. So, like, what do you think?
Yeah. What like? So you think about these things, and you're just like, damn, I do that. I was there. I've been in that situation. Like, so you start to associate. You start to see, damn, it's real. This reality. This stuff is happening. Like, this could be me.
Right.
So how do you not get emotional? How do you not how do you not?
Right.
And you gonna tell us that we're supposed to be able to take this and handle this?
Right.
No way.
You can't even handle it?
No way, because humans are not designed that way. None of us are. I don't care, black, white, whatever. We're not designed that way.
Right.
That's why when tragedies happen, we stop and take a second and we pause and we mourn and we grieve or we celebrate if it's good. Think about these things. We do these things. Remember when 9/11 hit? 9/11. I think about that all the time because I remember exactly where I was when it happened. I remember the weight of that day, that morning. I can still remember that morning. Why? Because it was significant. Why does it resonate so much? Because it was that significant. I think about things like that. I remember where I was when I heard when we got the news Obama was elected the first time. I remember that. I remember those things, and it's like we are human. For those
absolutely
things. The good, the bad, the ugly. We need the time to address it and deal with it and process. And if we celebrate, great. But if we mourn and it's hard, then we need that too. We need both sides.
Right.
We need them. So don't come back and tell us. And also, too, it's different for everyone.
Right. It is.
It's different.
It really is.
So you can't tell us how we should feel, what we should feel when. It's impossible. We're not wired that way.
And that man's name was Jacob Blake.
Jacob Blake, yeah. I mean, and again, this is what we continue to see. So, you know what? And if no one's creating that space for you, create your own space. You have to create your own space.
Absolutely.
You know, so going back to the conversation I had with the homegirls, like, I know in their workplace, they stopped work and they took some times to have that, in the workplace.
Right.
But what if it wasn't enough for that for somebody? You can't just be like, all right, well, bye, whatever. But no, sometimes you need to take the time and say, you know what, now I need a day, I need some time.
All right.
And don't be afraid to take that stuff, y'all. Like we need to make sure just like, look at it like this, like if your arm hurts,
right,
you will go see a doctor. If you tripped and fell, bumped your head, you will go get checked out, But you need to do the same thing for our mental status.
Right.
That's what mental health professionals do. We have different types of doctors.
Yeah. It's very important.
Yeah. If your chest hurt, you go see a cardiologist. But what if your emotional status? That's what we have, therapists and psychologists, things like that.
Psychiatrists.
Yeah. So we need to think of that, our mind and our mental health the same way we feel like the rest of the physical. Right. Like take the time if you need to go get help if you need the help. That's what these things are there for. And there's no harm. You're not weak if you get help. You are a human being.
Absolutely.
It's okay, y'all. So, I mean, that's just where I'm at. It's
pretty heavy.
It is.
And that's not even where we're supposed to go with it with totally
different topic. Totally
Right.
different topic. Did research the whole nine. That's okay. We're gonna table that because like we need to have the flexibility too.
We do.
Because this is where we are. We've been here for a minute. Like it's been ups and downs, especially 2020 in itself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know how.
Right.
We just making it work. We here, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Even as this show, sometimes we here.
Right.
We had stuff lined up. We had a whole thing planned. It just wasn't the time for it.
Right. There was a more important topic that needed to be spoken on.
Yeah. So take the time. Again, like I'll be the one to get the ball rolling. Let people know I cry, I laugh, I bleed, I feel. We all do. And don't be afraid to express that. And also too, again, as a black man, if get around people that support that.
Right.
I think that's another thing too. Like if your peoples, if your fam, if your friend, if your fam, and I'm saying fam. If your friends, the people around you that you commonly see, if they don't support you in those things, get away from them.
Yeah.
Get away from them. And I don't care if they have blood.
You need some better friends.
You need some new peoples in your life. Go find some people that's gonna support you in that are gonna give you that space, if not help you provide that space and facilitate it, or sometimes just give it to you.
Yep.
Need that time in that space to say, okay, you know what, go do your thing.
Right.
Be around those people. That's when they talk about like your circle of friends and who does what for you sometimes. Like those are the things, if people care about each other, those are the things you do for them. So no, we need that support.
We do.
We do, man. We do. It's real. And then again, people, black women too, same thing. Like,
right.
If you tell somebody this is how I feel, and their first response is to frown up, mug up, question it, they ain't the person.
Right.
They ain't the one.
They ain't.
For real, yeah. We need to acknowledge that. We need to address that. Get around the people that's going to support you in all forms. Not just support you when you on top and you getting money and everything looks good and the sun is shining. Nah, man, when it's dark and it's cold and
that's exactly when you need them.
Yeah. That's true friendship. That's true family. That's true fellowship, whatever you want to call it. Relationship, that's where we at. Okay. These things, especially in these times, these are important. Another thing I'll share too, and I'll just share this while might as well here.
Right.
The phrase, check on your strong friend. You hear that a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely. That strong friend they're going through it too. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on, and you always come to them to talk to them to just process whatever just happened. Yeah. But they're also going through stuff too.
Yeah. And the strong friend needs time and space. And so me being a strong friend, one thing I'm also going to say too, one thing I had to go through and experience recently was that, I had to be selfish.
Right.
I had to start being selfish with me and my time. And I had to say, sometimes I had to sit back and say, you know what, wait. All these people come to me. I'm supposed to be the one for them. But when I need something, can I go to them?
Right.
And that answer was no for some people in my life. So it made the tough decision to say, you know what? I got to fall back for certain folks.
Right.
And I say these times, COVID times, we're home. Things have changed. It's been a real indicator for who's who in my life.
Right. Who's checking up on you.
Yeah. Who's around? Who's checking up? Who's wants to see how you're doing? Who's calling? Who's, so it's like, oh, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I see that. I peep that stuff like that, right? And I see okay, I see where I stand in some people's lives. And that's
right.
Not fair. Don't just take the role of responsibility of the strong person and just feel like you have to sacrifice your life for that. You don't.
Right.
You don't. Because again, these things are two-way streets. Relationships, family, things like that, two-way streets. and sometimes you have to be selfish about you need to you have just as much right as everyone else to get support and get help and things like that.
Absolutely. That phone works two ways.
Yeah. Yep. So check up on people. Do that. Um, there's so much to that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So that's one thing I had to do for myself. I had to say, you know what? Like, nah. What do y'all do? Who? Wait.
Right.
Who's around me? And sometimes it's just like a little like spring clean. They call it like a little mental spring cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
Mental checkups are important.
Yeah, you gotta remove some folks. Let me see what's going on. Then there's some people I'm like, you know what? This person really hold me down. I need to acknowledge that.
Right.
Some people I just text like, I appreciate you. Thank you for this being there for me. I just want to let you know how I feel. And so I acknowledge it. So not only that, like, let people know too. Because I think some people need, everybody, we're all in
this together.
All in this together. And the roles may be different from time to time. And sometimes it's let people know too. So, I had to let some folks know.
Right.
Like, hey, I appreciate you. You really. Sometimes, if nothing else, I just appreciate you.
Right.
Just let them know. So yeah, so that's where we are. And I know next week we'll probably have something crazy to talk about. Next week, depending on we'll see.
Yep.
I still got the notes from what was supposed to be this show. So yeah, so we in there. So I'm gonna go ahead. I think that's
maybe we'll. You know what? Maybe we should save that for a bonus episode.
Yeah, you gotta pay for that.
Hey man,
talking about
hey y'all, that Patreon coming.
You talking about it? Patreon, or you might catch us. Everybody talking about OnlyFans.
We better be on. We better be on OnlyFans.
We're gonna do an OnlyFans, yo.
Hey, man, they're getting money, so who am I to hate?
That's what I can't hate.
Right.
So yeah, so we'll table it. We'll table this topic, and it's getting there. It's about that time. So yeah, that's all I got. So again, y'all, thanks for everyone for holding us down.
Right.
People holding us down. Again, I appreciate you all. If no one else tells you, we love you. We appreciate you.
We do.
You know where to find us. Check us out, communitycoalitionshow.com. That has the link for everything at this point now. Wherever you want to find us, you can go to the website.
Right.
You get to YouTube from there. You can get to all the other streaming platforms. You can listen there. So check us out there. Continue to connect on social media as we're trying to get that going. So it's things in the works.
Right.
We'll
also, check on your strong friends. Protect your mentals. Protect your energy.
Yep. All that. Protect your chicken too. Why not? Why are you in there?
Absolutely.
Why are you in there? So
why are you in there?
go ahead. Make sure everything good.
When mom's is cooking and you try to sneak some food and she's like,
your hand popped. My mom's had the backhand all the time.
She was ready.
She had that Serena backhand. She did. So yeah. But yeah, so check us out. Hit us up, y'all. And we're going to keep this thing going. And again, till next week, y'all.
Right.
Peace.
Peace.
Out.